All right, I'm going to call us to order. It is officially 7 o'clock, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this is the Newmarket Charter Commission. I will open the public hearing at 7 o'clock. And see, well, before I close the public hearing, we may as well talk
Less
about,
well attended than usual.
right. We'll talk about what led us here, in case anybody wanders in. So we submitted our proposed amendments to all the movements to Secretary of State, DRA, and Attorney General, and we did get some feedback that there were no issues with our proposed amendments, but we did find another problem in the charter. And it was just a lack of compliance with current state law, and so we just need to rectify that. When I talked to our attorney, one option would have been to not change anything, right? Like if the time frame didn't work, we wouldn't necessarily have to change the charter. We still had to comply with state law, but this just makes things clean, and we can, we've done our due diligence and we've made the changes that we need to make. So the changes, it's really all around section 5.4. So I passed out a sheet just with those, with that information, and so the changes proposed by our attorney, that would put us in compliance with state law. It's really, truly that simple. Does anybody have any questions?
So for the people watching, the tens of people watching.
Yes, tens.
That functionally, what changes with this charter, this amendment?
Yeah, so again, to back up, whether or not we change the charter, we still have to comply with state law.
Right.
So, but what the charter amendment does and what the state law, which changed, I believe, in 2017?
Yeah, after the prior charter amendment, which is
Yeah.
why this comes up. Oh,
Right.
Okay. Is that
So-
a mistake we made? It's
Yeah.
just a change in law.
Right. So, and that's one of the things, is that when you get too specific in the charter, these things can come up, right? But essentially, we have to take out all of the contributions to the capital improvement funds, and they have to be their own warrant article. So it can be one separate warrant article with all of the contributions in them. They don't have to be individual.
Okay.
Yep, they don't have to be individual warrant articles for each contribution, because that would be.
So, because that's what the school has to do. The school has to
Yeah.
put every warrant article separate for every contribution to their capital reserve funds.
Yeah, that's been the advice that we've been given by
Okay.
the.
And so from a history perspective, regardless of what CIP recommends, it's always been a line item in the operating budget where it's going to contribute to. Now that comes out of the operating budget. Whatever the council decides they will contribute to the fund goes as a separate warrant article.
Right. It's called out, so the source of the funds is clear.
Exactly. Yeah. So really, nothing changes. in
Where it's
how-
going, it just highlights so that the voters see where the money is flowing to and from.
Visibility.
More explicit.
Yeah,
More
more
transparency.
transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the objective.
Would it list, did the lawyer suggest that it lists out each capital reserve fund and how much is going to them, or is it a bulk, this much going to all these capital reserve funds?
I don't know. I can tell you what my understanding was.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what in practice it should be. My understanding was that it would list out each one,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's how it would.
That
in
seems to be
practice.
in spirit of the law. probably.
Right.
Is that our prerogative? Whether it lists it individually?
No, that comes through DRA. So that's not something that,
The specific warrant articles are gonna have to be approved by DRA anyway. My guess is
Right.
they're gonna make sure that they're set up in such a way that it's very clear.
Gotcha.
That's what I thought.
There's not gonna be a bulk, because that would be,
yeah.
we're taking a lump of money and we're throwing it as some unspecified capital reserve.
Be meaningless.
Or
Yeah.
each amount to each account is
Yeah.
probably gonna have to be specified.
And my
My
understanding
guess is.
for how this kind of came about, so, because this became state law in 2017, but it's not what we have been using in practice, for the last several years. But there was some sort of an issue with another community, and so it got flagged by DRA, which is the only
Good.
reason that they even paid attention to it, as, these things happen.
DRA's failure to enforce the law prior to this point doesn't stop them from enforcing it now.
No,
Exactly.
we're on their radar now, too.
Well, exactly.
You know?
Right, so fighting it isn't really an option because it is the law.
I've noticed that the fight is, we're just trying to make sure that everyone understood it.
Right,
And there's nothing that precludes us, not us, the council,
right.
that from having separate warrant articles, if they wanted to make sure, like, this is something we really want to make sure it gets approved, because if it's a bulk,
Yeah.
it's either all or nothing. But there's individual warrant articles for certain ones,
Yeah, that's what, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
that's
point.
what,
that's a council thing.
that's what Steve was highlighting at the budget committee meeting last night, is that,
Oh.
I mean, there are many practical effects of this. One of the big ones is that you put it on a separate warrant, no means no. If it's in the operating budget, the council has some discretion to move things around and fund what they think is important. As a separate warrant, if it's voted down, that's it. You can't put the money there.
That's what the legislature is trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
They're trying to
that's
make-
exactly what
They're trying to make it more difficult,
Well, strangely enough,
or more transparent, depending on how
yeah,
you
I'd
look at
say
it.
transparent only because it's been a while since somebody amended one of the budgets, and we had a fight on that in the town meetings and stuff. But as a separate warrant article, I could see people saying, gee, I'd really like to build that bridge over the River Kwai, and we're willing to put more money into that warrant article, as well as a no. So it's just interesting, it becomes a votable item on its own.
Only budget
Yeah, I think
amendments.
they're gonna wanna bulk it, because the big concern of the town council is, there's a bunch of other warrant articles, like these guys want about $1 million for stormwater, management. There's a property that we're trying to acquire, for conservation easement. There's a bunch of other articles. And now you're throwing this additional warrant articles in there, and the fear is they're gonna say, holy cow, like, all these warrant articles, like, what are we doing? And the reality is, it's not a whole bunch of extra warrant articles, it's just taking one thing and voting on it in the two halves, right? But if you're just a random voter, it just, it could easily come across as, this is the budget, this is some more money they want. And then this is some more money they want, and this is some more money they want.
I
right?
think that's
Now you're
exactly what the
getting
legislature is
Yeah.
trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
That's exactly what they're trying to accomplish.
I mean, just
Accountability
a
state.
reaction, I think the greater the detail, the greater ability to make good decisions and not lump things together.
Yeah, I think the feeling is 3 or 4 years from now, when everybody knows that this is how the budget goes, then it's, it's a net positive effect probably. But right now, since nobody really is gonna know that, we don't have any good mechanism to inform all the voters of how to do this, at least to my knowledge.
we've gotten out of practice, I think, because there was a time when we would have more, maybe not a huge number, but 3, 4, 6, different warrant articles. You look at other communities like Exeter, I know we didn't form government, but when they have their deliberative session, they're looking at, there's some communities that are looking at 20, 30 different.
Newfields
gosh,
last
yeah.
year.
Right?
Oh, really? Lord.
Many other towns, you're looking at 30, 40 warrant articles.
Yeah.
It was not uncommon for
They
us
go all
a decade
day.
ago to have 2 pages, easy,
Right.
2, 3 pages.
Tony, why do you think that happened?
What do I think?
Why do you think that the consolidation occurred?
I don't think that there are as many, we don't have petition warrant articles the way we used to, I mean, we're also a different form of government, right? So Exeter has a, it's just a
Yeah.
different system. And I use that as an example, and it's not really apples to apples. But, I don't know. We just don't have as many extra spending. Because it's only spending too, right? Like that's the only thing that we see on our ballot. We don't see the other kinds of things that some of the communities typically see.
Just be two,
Right.
just be two. There are many communities, some very large communities, they'll go all day.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go 8, 10 hours in the town meeting, going through 40, 50 warrant articles.
And we go
With,
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
30
Well,
minutes.
some of us remember that,
Which are the-
it included fisticuffs at some point back in the day, so.
But that again reinforces my concept of, can't we hit a happy medium here? 2 minutes is, one is not sufficient. I don't think there's enough detail in it. I'd like to see it broken out for
It's
it.
incredible some of the towns, I went to the Haverhill town meeting in 2023 up in Catherine County. They have 400 people show up and they complain about that the turnout is so low.
Wow.
And I'm like, you guys have no idea how good you have it. And they'll be there for 4 hours.
Well, I've been to one, they serve cocktails.
That makes for a very interesting meeting.
Traditional
Is there a
town meeting,
correlation
though, right?
there?
And they're talking about
Certainly
switching to
technology
SB2, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Well, there's 5,000 voters, and
Yeah.
10% of them show up at town meeting, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
And they think
great.
it's terrible,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you set a really high bar.
Right.
We have more town employees show up at our town meeting than voters.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have any questions about the language?
If this is what the lawyers are proposing,
And again, it doesn't change a whole lot, it just puts us in compliance with state law.
Do you need a motion?
I do.
motion to approve the amendments to the town charter as proposed.
Second. Give it to John.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there you have it. Oh, and I will, close the public hearing at 7:12.
Motion to adjourn?
Unless there's any new business. And well, I do actually, I have a moment, I have one thing, new business. I will not be at the deliberative session this year. I have a family obligation, so if anyone wants to go and talk about charging, I'll put it out there. We don't have to make a decision tonight, but
I
just.
think it's gotta be the vice chair if he's available.
Yeah. I think
I'll
so.
go.
Okay, all right, awesome.
What's the date of the deliberative session?
31st? I know, I thought, I don't know.
February, I thought.
Me too.
Work around basketball and sports.
Is it a Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
So it's gonna be 20 minutes.
Depends, depends on if the Patriots
They're
are.
gonna
Drop
use
off
it in
at
the
the high
gym.
school
When
gym.
people see you on the
come.
agenda, it'll be 5 minutes.
Oh, is it gonna be here? Or is it at the gym?
It's
Oh,
usually,
it's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
It's gotta be that-
it's usually at the cafeteria.
Cafeteria.
Yeah, cafeteria.
Yeah.
If you in the gym play basketball, oh yeah, I'll come right down.
I believe we called it the cafetorium.
Cafeteria.
Alright. So with
Another
that, I
comment.
would accept a motion to adjourn.
So are you gonna hand out the gifts to everybody for their?
Honorable
plaque or
service.
something,
Is it-
yeah, yeah.
You like
We
the
were
clock?
supposed to get her one, you got this backwards.
Second the
It's
motion.
not too late.
Motion's to adjourn are non-debatable.
All approved.
Aye.
Aye.